Here we come to see the world under attack. You will go hard and never fail. No more down. You can't stop the fire we bring. Defending the world from aliens and things. It's the Tubular. It's the Tubular. It's the Tubular. It's the Tubular. It's the Tubular.
The trio of Gwen, Jay, and Ha-Nuel exit Ha-Nuel's sports car and begin making their way into the woods, where they recently encountered the latest GeoMonster.
Isn't Stormcaller an old song title? I remember my dad's playing it on a road trip once.
You're thinking Dreamweaver by Gary Knight. It was released in December 1975.
How do you know that?
My dad is really into soft rock.
I thought maybe it was an insult at first, but now I don't know. That Duke talked about the energy flowing through me or something.
Maybe he was just sensing the source energy in your conduit.
If that was true, why did he just pick me?
I think it might have to do with the fact that you routinely have the greatest ratio of consumed source energy to mystical output.
I have the what now?
As we were getting closer and closer to finishing the design of Pan's new conduit, I have been really analyzing the data that we've collected about our own.
When do we start collecting data?
It's not really us collecting it. It's more like GAIA doing routine diagnostic reports on our armor. She measures things like energy output and core stability.
Fair enough. So this data shows that Ha-Nuel does the most damage?
Yes and no. For sheer damage, you and Benny outshine us all. What Ha-Nuel excels at is maximizing his source energy output. When he threw that typhoon at the magma squid, it would have left the rest of us almost fully depleted. He, on the other hand, only used 15% of his reserves.
That's amazing! How does he do it? Is that something we can all learn to do? That would make coming up with battle plans so much easier if we didn't truly have to factor in energy depletion.
We've run every test we and GAIA can think of, and we don't know why it's happening.
You said that you hear and feel the source differently than us. That has to be it. Have you felt or seen anything really unusual?
Nothing comes to mind. Well, there was... Nah, never mind.
You can't tease us like that.
This is gonna make me sound crazy, but there have been some times where I think I've controlled the wind.
Why would that be crazy? That's your elemental power. It would be crazy if you said you could control platypi.
I'm not talking about when we're in our armor. There have been times where I wanted the wind to do something and it just happened. Like the community garden. The first day was unbelievably windy. I didn't think we were gonna get anything done, and I thought to myself, the wind needs to die down. This is important. A few seconds later, everything was calm.
That could just be a coincidence.
That wasn't the only time.
Are you talking about Beakquake?
Yeah.
I knew there was no way my reflexes were that fast.
Fascinating. So you're starting to exhibit elemental control subconsciously. We should conduct an experiment right now.
I thought we were supposed to be looking for signs of the GeoMonster.
We can multitask. If this is a skill that you have, we definitely need to start working on improving it. It could definitely come in handy one of these days. Why don't you attempt to move something with the wind? A leaf, or some litter.
I'll try this once, and then we need to get back on task.
Ha-Nuel focuses his gaze upon a lone, dry leaf on the ground. He stares intently for a few seconds, and then closes his eyes.
Nothing. It's like I said, when I think about it, I can't do it.
That is deliciously frustrating. I've already got some theories bouncing around my head. I'll filter them out tonight, and tomorrow we can start quantifying this new ability.
We should talk to Pan. They do seem to be the expert on this.
Yay! Let's include them more.
I know they're not your favorite person, but they are the best resource we have.
Don't get me wrong. I don't dislike them. When we're not in battle, we generally get along pretty well. Have you noticed, ever since they've gotten their armor, they seem to be pushing themselves more and more in charge?
They were Guardian Prime. If what GAIA says is true, they were the leader of an enormous space military force. Following orders is something they're not used to.
So, because they were in charge 1,000 years ago, they just got to show up and take over? Let's not forget that the organization they oversaw has apparently turned evil.
Oh my God, why do you all hate me?
The three teens turn to see a visibly frustrated Desdemona staring at them with her hands on her hips. Behind the would-be TV star is Reginald. The football player and sometimes apprentice chef holds a TV camera on his right shoulder that he lowers to join Desdemona in a shared look of disgust.
You freaks are killing me. We had the perfect shot, and you ruined it.
I swear, if I have lost the sunlight that I need, the three of you are going to pay.
Desi, we're really sorry. We just got lost in conversation.
Oh, were you reporting on the cave-in?
That's just the appetizer. I'm waiting to meet with a couple of eyewitnesses to the last Guardian fight. Apparently, the Rainbow Brigade fought a giant egg or something.
The Guardians fought an egg? That sounds a little ridiculous.
Obviously it was an evil egg. That's not even the best part of it. We actually have a picture of the Guardians.
I was under the impression that the Guardians never show up on film or video because of their technology. How did you get a picture of them?
It seems like if they're not wearing their tacky supersuits, we could catch a picture of them.
You have a picture of the Guardians, not in their armor. Does that mean you know who they are?
Well, sorta.
Reginald pulls out of his pocket a small collection of Polaroid photos. In the images, taken from a distance, one can see 6 out-of-focus figures standing in the giant stone hand of StoneHands. No discernible features can be seen, but the size of the Guardians and Pan's indigo skin are apparent.
It just looks like a bunch of blurs to me. You think this is newsworthy?
Obviously, this isn't professional photography, but it does confirm one rumor that we've been discussing on Gabbing About the Guardians.
Gabbing about the Guardians? What's that?
You are so out of the loop. It's hilarious.
It's only Dragon Cove's #1 public access show.
I thought that was Bowling with Badgers.
That show went off the air 6 months ago after a not-so-surprising badger attack left the hosts with no thumbs.
Then it has to be the art of art with Art the Artist.
I love that show. He painted the happiest trees.
He actually got picked up by Channel 7.
Really? That's great for him.
Can we get back to the topic of me and my amazing show? Ever since the Guardian showed up, everyone was wondering if they were people from our area. That jacket is a Vermilion High School Letterman's jacket.
I don't want to rain on your proverbial parade, Desdemona, but red and white are one of the most common high school color combinations. 28% of high schools in our state have Letterman jackets that look just like ours.
This is why nobody likes you. You're a buzzkill. What about the blue dude? What % of people are blue? An alien shouldn't be that hard to find.
The Fugates, a family living in the hills of Kentucky, carried a genetic trait that led to the blood disorder methemoglobinemia, causing their skin to appear blue. Maybe he's a descendant of theirs?
How are you not stuffed in a locker every day?
Come on, Reginald. We need to get back to recording the intro before the sun sets. Let's let these plebs get back to picking flowers or whatever they were doing before they ruin my shot.
The aspiring TV star determinedly sets off toward an isolated spot as Reginald dutifully follows. The trio of guardians begin to slowly move away in the opposite direction.
So that was unexpected?
Yeah, I can't believe art got picked up by a local channel. My money would have been on Ernesto's enormous edibles.
Is that the one where the host builds enormous versions of regular foods and a team tries to eat it to, win prizes?
It's beautiful in this chaotic ridiculousness.
Can we focus? Desi just told us people are actively trying to figure out who we are. This could make things very complicated.
I don't think a blurry photo and a public access show are reason enough to worry.
Regardless, we can't have another situation where we demorph in public. We should probably start morphing before we teleport, just to be safe.
Speaking of demorphing, I know the GeoMonsters drain us, but how did this one do it so quickly?
I'm not certain, but my current hypothesis is that the monster must have absorbed significantly more source energy than any of the others. My rough estimate is that we're looking at an increase of 300%, at least.
If this monster is that strong, why haven't we recharged our conduits? We should be ready to fight.
GAIA said we can only tap into the elemental plane once every 24 hours. Just being here would probably drain us if we weren't already depowered. We can't recharge until we're ready to fight.
Okay, how do we get this thing to come out and play? Usually the GeoMonsters are itching to fight. I don't have plans for passive monsters.
My leyline energy collector isn't designed to pull from a nebulous source. Until this thing makes another appearance, we're just gonna have to sit and wait.
Hey, if we head back now, we can catch Knits and Stitches with Granny Natty and Sister Sally.
Oh, are they still working on knitting the Titanic?
The small lift that connects E-Rail's hidden underground lab to Doc's salvage yard has barely stopped before an enraged Pan Vahan exits.
This is inexcusable, Erald. I don't expect you to be on the front line, but your technical knowledge needs to be at our disposal if we're going to defeat Tirich Mir.
The blue-skinned alien moves quickly through the lab in their hunt to find the Dinosaur scientist.
What would Hera think of you hiding down here while you leave the children to avenge her?
Pan finds the Velociraptor scientist sitting quietly at a desk, staring intently at a small datapad. E-Rail does not react as Pan loudly enters the room.
Erald, did you not hear me?
I've made it a rule to not respond to the ravings of the clearly insane. When you've calmed down, I'll gladly engage you in conversation.
Fine. What is the reason you've abandoned the Guardians?
I've done no such thing. I am not at your beck and call. I have pursuits that require my full attention.
Listen, I know you are still feeling guilty about your sister, but the war continues.
War? I am no soldier. My allegiances lay only with my kin. She is here, and so will I be until I can awaken her. If you require me to analyze information, leave it on the desk and I will take a look at it.
So this is who you're choosing to be? Back to being a reclusive scientist? What would your sister say?
I would love to know what my beloved sister would say. Let's ask her, shall we? Oh, that is correct. She's still locked in a vegetative state after saving my life. Do I not owe her the same devotion?
I would never tell you how to mourn the loss of your sister. I have lost more friends than I can possibly count. I know Hera has her beliefs in Rever, but we Guardians have our own. When a Guardian sacrifices themselves in battle for the good of another, it is called the convergence. Their essence, their life force becomes one with the Source. Their sacrifice strengthens us all.
My sister is not dead, and I will figure out a way to bring her back.
I do not know what the afterlife is like for your people, Erald, but when a Guardian becomes one with the Source, it is said that in times of great need that their voices can still be heard. They encourage us. They comfort us. I believe your sister wants you to do more than focus on one task, and there's so much to be done.
Wait, are you saying there is documented proof of communication with the afterlife? I thought I was going mad. Look at this.
The monitor in front of Pan begins to play a recording, showing Erald appearing to be speaking to himself.
What am I supposed to be seeing? It looks like you're dictating notes or speaking to Savitri.
I was speaking to my sister. My sister appeared to me as some sort of phantasm, glowing and translucent, but it was her. Somehow she was undetected by any of my cameras or sensors.
Are you certain this is not just your grief manifesting?
I swear upon my life that my sister was here and spoke of a place beyond.
I wish I had something positive to tell you, but the only way Hera could experience the convergence was to be connected to the Source, and your sister had no direct connection.
I have heard you and your holographic friend say how different and special this planet is. Are you saying there is no way this could have occurred?
It would be unprecedented.
But not impossible. We know that the GeoMonsters are powered by the mystical energies of Terra. When my sister injected herself with all of my monster serums, she became imbued with energies to such an extent that the Guardians had to siphon it from her.
Theoretically, when the Mega Titan siphoned the energy from your sister, it had to use its ley line energy reserve. Maybe the mixtures of raw energies resulted in a forced convergence.
So it is just a matter of getting the energy back into her physical form.
I'm sorry, but there is no way to reverse a convergence. They have tried for decades. Haljor himself couldn't accomplish it.
I have never tried. I will force the very laws of science to bend to my whim if it means getting my sister back.
The villainous trio of Haxatar Obliterous, the Drowned Duke, and Tirich Mir make their way back into their subterranean headquarters. Dust and rocky debris fall with each of their heavy steps.
I shall return to that insolent mountain and crush it into rubble. I will then take that rubble and turn it into pebbles. I will crush each pebble to dust and watch it blow away in a gentle breeze.
I share your sentiment, my lord. I'd be remiss if I didn't point out the amount of wild magic coursing through that creature was astounding.
Haxatar will go back and make that monster pay for disrespecting you, my lord.
Do you plan on stabbing a mountain? My lord, if you don't mind.
With a small gesture of Drowned Duke's hand, the dirt and filth covering Tirich Mir and himself is mystically wiped away. Haxatar looks down at his torso and angrily looks up when he realizes that he is still covered in dirt.
Haxatar thinks you are forgetting something.
I am not. The filth suits you.
Tell me why I shouldn't systematically destroy that cantankerous creature.
The energy we've been able to get from the previous creatures has been sufficient and only grows when they evolve to behemoth size. I simply request that we consider how much energy you would receive if something that size evolved another step.
You heard what it said. It wants to be left alone. Why do you think it would fight the Guardians?
Because it is only a sentient creature, not sapient. If we manipulate the symbol beast, we can pit it against the Guardians, and then reap the benefits from the fallout. At worst, the Guardians defeat it, and we take the bounty. If fate smiles upon me, the Guardians will be defeated, and the creature will consume even more energy. That energy will complete my chrysalis, and I shall have no problem conquering the surface world without its defenders.
Exactly, my lord. If I may humbly suggest that I go converse with the creature alone, I fear that your presence will intimidate it, and Haxatar's will annoy it.
How will you convince it to challenge the Guardians?
Just like I would convince Haxatar, I'll speak to it as a hatchling. I believe the story of the Zorro will suffice.
The Zoral? Haxatar has not heard this story before.
You sad, pathetic thing. You have my pity.
The Triceraton warrior can only look on angrily as the drowned duke disappears in a puddle. The forested mountain area that just hours ago was the site of the awakened mountain StoneHands is oddly calm. The earthen hand that lifted the Guardians into the air still remains, as onlookers circle it, taking pictures, staring at it, puzzled.
Are you sure this wasn't here last time?
You think we didn't notice a 3-story rock hand?
I bet it's for that movie coming out.
Golden Talon? How is a giant stone hand tie into a Victorian crime drama?
I didn't say it was a good idea.
Black liquid bubbles up from the ground and takes a humanoid form. The dark liquid recedes, leaving the drowned duke standing in front of the flabbergasted Dragon Cove citizens.
This is when you run. Mountain, I summon you. I know you are here, and I know that you can hear me. I can feel the magics that flow through you as easily as I feel the breeze upon my face. I've come to talk, but I will force you to manifest if need be. I'd rather not destroy this area, but you leave me no choice. The winds of Gulliver and the...
Come to parley and threaten violence.
An enormous earthen head forms in front of the water wizard, breaking their spell. Momentarily surprised, the drowned duke quickly composes himself.
Yes, I speak on behalf of the ruler of the 7 kingdoms, the Dark Emperor, Tirich Mir.
That name means nothing to me. Why should I not simply squash you like the bug you are.
As entertaining as it would be to have you try, I simply wish to tell you a story, and then I will be on my way.
Very well. One story, and then you leave me be.
Once there was a beautiful and majestic tree named the Zorro, and it loved all the creatures of the forest. And every day the creatures would frolic and play in the Zorro's branches, and then they would rest in its shade. One day, one of the creatures came to the tree and asked, "My stomach is empty. Can you help me?" The tree offered an apple to the creature, and the creature ate it happily. The Zorro was happy. The next day, 2 creatures asked for sustenance, and the tree obliged. And so on, and so on. Each day, more and more creatures asked for apples. The Zorro was happy until the day came, and the tree no longer had apples to give. The creatures became upset with the Zorro for not offering them apples. They said, "If you have nothing to give us, then you serve no purpose." The creatures cut down the tree to use it as lumber. The Zorro, now only a stump, sits alone, forgotten until this day.
And what is your point?
You are the Zorro. The surface dwellers do nothing but take from you. They've cut into you. They've removed pieces of you, and they still want more. Someday, maybe someday soon, there will be none of you left, and the humans will carry on like you were never here.
I just want to be left alone. Is that too much to ask?
It is not. The only way for you to find your solace is to eliminate the human infection.
Why shouldn't I start with you and your kind?
What affront have we done to you? We live deep in the core of this majestic rock, in harmony with nature. We do not plunder and abuse it like these surface dwellers.
The drowned Duke takes a few steps back as the giant head that they were speaking to begins to rise. In mere moments, there now stands a giant earthen humanoid, roughly 40 meters tall.
Hopefully that doesn't change, or your people are next.
As the mountainous figure moves toward Dragon Cove, vines and moss sprout from the torso, taking the shape of a toga. The ground reverberates with each step of the brown and green giant.
GAIA, are those readings accurate?
They are. The GeoMonster's energy level exceeds the previous monsters by at least 2-fold, and it's increasing.
Contact the Guardians and have them summon their Titans immediately.
The Titans won't last for more than a few minutes before the monster drains them of their source energy.
It's going to have to be enough. I really need to get a new Titan.
The 5 teenage heroes exit their portals and are stunned to see the 12-story tall figure striding toward their city.
Is that a walking mountain?
It definitely appears to be.
Is that on the bingo card?
It is not.
It's widely accepted that to be classified as a mountain, a landform has to be at least 300 meters or more above its surrounding area. Technically, it's a hill.
Walking Hill is also not on the bingo card. I'll have to remember that for version 2.0.
Mount Witcherproof in Australia, the world's smallest mountain, stands 148 meters above sea level, which is not truly mountainous in traditional terms. Interesting addendum, actually. It only rises 43 meters above its surroundings.
I stand corrected.
What's the plan, Captain? This thing sucked us dry in a few minutes last time.
We need to recharge and deal damage faster than it drains us. Do we know how it drains us?
Wait, why does how matter? It shuts off our suits in seconds.
Interesting hypothesis. The GeoMonsters all drain us a little each fight, but that's a metaphysical action. Just being around them is enough.
Yeah. Even when Vortex Pest or Beequake hit us, it didn't drain us more. This monster has a tactile component we've never seen before.
So we just keep our distance and hope it doesn't get all grabby?
No, Cronus. If we give it one target, we're done. Let's power up, suit up, and kick that mountain's butt.
The 5 heroes stand in a circle, facing each other. In unison, they extend their left hands into the air.
I call on the immovable monolith.
I call upon the blinding tempest.
I call upon the devastating force.
I call upon the eternal flame.
I call upon the unrelenting wave.
Elemental energy dances across their fingertips and coalesces into rotating spheres of energy in their palms. Lowering the spheres, they raise their rings towards them until the energy begins to reach towards it. As the sphere leaps from their left hand to their right, they quickly slam their sparking fists into the ground.
I am life and ingenuity.
I am spontaneity and strength.
I am hope and loyalty.
I am justice and passion.
I am adaptation and perseverance.
Elemental energy swims across the teens before disappearing into their bracelets.
Let's go fight the mountains! Guardians, engage!
Druidic Defender.
Nova Knight.
Storm Sentinel.
Fire Paladin.
Hydro Hoplite!
The elemental armor has barely solidified before the Guardians call upon their Titans.
It's Titan time!
I summon the rock that supports.
I summon the light and the darkness.
I summon the wings of change.
I summon the cry that ignites justice!
I summon the claws that rend life.
The mechanical, mythological creatures emerge from their respective elemental planes and streak toward the lumbering, towering figure. With a small tap on their conduits, the multicolored heroes teleport into their Titans.
Humans, you have abused this land for far too long. For this, your right to remain here has been revoked. Consider this retribution for your crimes.
StoneHands, unfazed by the powerful flame attack launched at its face, turns to see the cry that ignites justice streaking away. The red mechanical phoenix circles back and rejoins the other 4 Titans.
You were warned, yet you persist. You have now chosen oblivion.
Sprouting from the organic toga of the mountainous figure are giant paws. As the pods hit the surface, they quickly take root and begin growing until they resemble 4-story tall green figures. These sproutlings waste no time in rushing toward Dragon Cove's would-be protectors.
Ew, that was gross. Did he just shoot off his nipples? I'm not comfortable fighting nipple beasts.
They seem to be organic miniature constructs. Elementally speaking, fire, electricity, and ice will be the most effective.
You heard, Defender. Paladin Knight and I will handle the sprouts.
Defender and I, we'll slow down the Mountain Man.
The Red Phoenix, Blue Dragon, and Black Beetle move to engage the Sproutlings, while the Green Turtle and Pink Alicorn head to cut off StoneHands' progress.
Are we putting a little too much faith in Aeolian process?
I have full faith in our powers of attrition. I supply the shrapnel, you bring the gale force winds.
Before we sandblast this thing, I want to try reasoning with it.
We're just gonna skip past where it said it was gonna send us to oblivion, aren't we?
Violence isn't the only option. I refuse to have the team become nothing but murder hobos.
The siphoning rate will increase in correlation to our proximity to the GeoMonster. Let's at least keep an eye on our energy levels.
As the stalwart turtle takes a defensive position, the agile alicorn zips upward and positions itself directly at eye level with StoneHands. The massive stone figure dwarfs the winged mech and eyes it with mild interest.
It doesn't have to be this way.
I only want things to return to how they were before the light that is humanity destroyed this area.
You're wrong about humanity. Sure, collectively we're weak, and we cheat and steal and destroy and disappoint, but we also give, create, and we sing and dance and love.
Birds sing and butterflies dance.
The Storm Sentinel's mech is slammed by rocky fists and crashes to the ground.
I don't need humans.
Sentinel!
I'm still here. Crap. Those hits took me to 50%.
Safe to say it's time for a more aggressive approach?
Let's give it a dose of forced erosion.
The blue, red, and black titans engage with the organic kaijus terrorizing Dragon Coast.
What do you guys think these guys smell like burns? Asparagus or broccoli?
Did the mountain guy just slap down Sentinel? Why would he get so close? It's like no one hears me when I'm making a plan.
Let's cook these sprouts and go help them. It's kebab time. Lightning Clash!
The Rhino Beetle charges forward and spears 2 Sproutlings on its protruding horn. The plant monsters struggle as they are moved off the ground.
Great job, Knight. Next one is mine.
The snake-like body of the Water Dragon Titan wraps around a Sproutling, locking it in place. The massive green figure struggles, but the mechanical dragon holds tight.
Glacial Blast!
Frosty breath pours from the mouth of the dragon, completely covering its entangled prey. The frost crystallizes over as the lush green monster is slowly frozen in place. The blue titan constricts its frame and shatters the Sproutling.
I'll finish off the rest with one flaming strafing run. Anyone for extra crispy vegetables?
The Pyre Paladin, Nova Knight, and Hydro Hoplite pilot their mechs and rejoin the Druidic Defender and Storm Sentinel in their battle with StoneHands. The pink and green duo have just finished another powerful sandblasting attack on the mountainous figure.
You will never win. I've existed long before
That's the one thing about us pesky humans. We will never give up, no matter what. Defender, what are you doing?
The four other Guardians can only stare in confusion as Jay climbs out of the control hub of the rock that supports and stands defiantly on the head of the giant turtle.
It's right. We're not gonna win because it's right. Humans have negatively impacted the environment in many ways. Overpopulation, pollution, burning fossil fuels, and what I assume is the GeoMonster's main issue, deforestation. We're responsible for climate change, soil erosion, destroying air quality, and contaminating the water.
As surprised of a look a being made of stone can have crawls across the face of the imposing GeoMonster. It lowers itself to one knee and stares intently at the tiny green figure in front of it.
Then why do you fight me? Why side with evil?
Humanity isn't evil. It's apathetic. There's no easy remedy for that, but we're trying? Dragon Cove has a geothermal plant. We're planting trees and tons of things that I can't think of right now. We just need time.
Time? How much time do you need to fix these evils?
Relatively speaking, just 1 second of your time.
What are they doing? A second? We can't even form Cronus that fast.
I don't know, but we have to trust them.
Be ready to supply cover fire if this thing goes sideways.
A long and ominous pause fills the air above Dragon Cove as a 12-story stone Goliath stares at the 4-story mechanized turtle.
1 second? That is all you require?
Just 1 of your seconds is all I ask.
Very well.
Slowly, the giant turns away from the city and begins to move back toward the forested area.
Your terms are acceptable. I will wait 1 of my seconds before passing judgment.
The stone giant sits cross-legged next to the base of a mountain, places its hands in its lap, and closes its eyes. Moments later, the Guardians teleport down from their titans and stare up at the slumbering giant.
I need someone to explain what just happened.
Why is it sleeping? Anybody else wondering what it's dreaming about?
I'm guessing stone sheep? I'm not complaining that we didn't tussle with this thing, but hasn't it been more than a second already?
Defender, you are, to steal your exclamation, bloody brilliant. I would have never thought that would have worked. I would have bet money that appealing to the beauty of humanity was the ticket.
I will never disrespect geology again.
Hello? Can someone explain this to the remedial student?
I realized that the GeoMonster was literally a sentient mountain, or at least it thought it was. North America is roughly 2 billion years old, so that's how old StoneHands thought it was.
What does age have to do with anything? Isn't time a fairly constant thing? A second 1 billion years ago is still a second today.
True, but this is where Defender was brilliant. Do you mind if I explain it? I don't want to steal your thunder.
Explain away.
Defender asked for a relative second. A second to that thing in comparison to the length of our existence is roughly... carry the For
30,000 years? Give or take.
So, Dragon Cove is going to have a giant sleeping Buddha for 30,000 years?
Give or take.
What about the source energy? We can't just leave it like this. What if Tirich Mir figures out how to take it?
I figured that out as well. Pan, can you bring the extractor?
The blue-skinned Pan Vahan steps out of the portal carrying a rectangular contraption tethered to a long cord and paddle.
GAIA just finished running the diagnostics on it. The surface energy extractor is ready for its first field test.
I followed your design specs to the letter, Guardian. Although I will reiterate, this is not the most practical of designs.
Don't ruin this moment for me.
Dude, is that the ghost trap from Ghostbusters?
That it is.
This should be more than enough to jumpstart a new type.
A smug Haxatar Obliterus confidently walks into the temporary throne room of Tirich Mir. The large Triceraton's expression changes from arrogance to seriousness as he kneels in front of the Dark Emperor.
Haxatar scouts have informed Haxatar that the Drowned Duke's plan has failed. Not only did the monster not destroy the Guardians, they were able to also peacefully confiscate his wild magic energy.
That is disappointing. I do not wish to spend more time than necessary amongst the surface dwellers. Ugh. The very existence offends me.
Then let Haxatar become your right hand. I will slit the throat of the incompetent Duke and bathe in his blood. I will lead your endless army and take over the surface. The Guardians and their magics would be no match for our battalions.
I appreciate you showing me again and again that you'll never be a threat to my throne in the future. You think so linearly. I think in dimensions that you cannot possibly fathom. This is not simply about claiming dominion over some rock. This is, as it's always been, about power. Once you have tasted true power, it's almost impossible to resist its calling.
Haxatar is powerful. You just have to give Haxatar a chance to show you.
No, you are simply strong. A lesser mind would see that as power. You are simply a sentient weapon for me to use as I please. Nothing more. Just the Drowned Duke. It's just a magical conduit that does my bidding.
But, my lord...
Enough! I tire of your insolence. Leave me. When the Drowned Duke returns, tell him to immediately begin searching for the next wild magic monster. If we do not get more of that energy soon, one of you will pay.
Benny and his younger brother Carter drive together in the family car on their way to pick up dinner for them and their mother. Carter wears a large knee brace on his injured leg, keeping it immobilized.
Know what time it was on our shift. Smugglers.
Hey, I like that song!
I'll buy you the CD next time we're at the mall. I'm really proud of you, baby brother. I totally thought you were going to tell Mom about my secret.
I really wanted to. Mom says we're not supposed to lie and keep secrets from each other.
So why didn't you tell her?
You're my brother, and you always say brothers have each other's backs, no matter what.
You know you can't tell any of your friends about this either, right?
I know. It would be nice to make Xavier shut up for once. He's always bragging that his brother is a baseball player.
His brother plays on a semi-pro team. Mom makes more than him on her night job.
Hello? Welcome to movies? Would you like to try a cow tipper?
I'll get 2 double movie combos and 1 regular movie combo with no onions.
Yeah, and for your drink?
Can I get a milkshake?
Secret keepers get whatever they want. Can we get 2 milkshakes and 1 diet tab?
Don't forget something for a toasty.
Should we be feeding a flaming wolf junk food?
Wolves are carnivores. That means they eat meat. A cow tipper is mostly meat.
Can't argue with that logic. Excuse me, we'll take a cow tipper, protein style.
After quickly paying for their fast food, the Humo brothers are back on the road, headed home.
So you're going to have to leave because you're a superhero?
Maybe, I don't know. It's a possibility, but I haven't made up my mind yet.
Who is going to protect Dragon Cove if you leave?
I wouldn't leave unless I knew Dragon Cove was safe.
You don't have to worry about Mom. I'll keep her safe.
I don't doubt that for a second.
As the 2 brothers arrive home, Benny is surprised to see Scarlett's truck parked next to their garage. A look of confusion creeps across his face as he hands the bag of fast food to his younger brother.
I didn't know Scarlett was coming over. We didn't buy her any food.
I didn't know she was coming over either, buddy.
Uh-oh, are you in trouble?
I don't think so. But if you hear me screaming, come out and save me, okay?
You got it.
Hey, Scar, did we have plans tonight? If we did, I'm really sorry. I need to talk to Carter and...
The guilty expression on the high school quarterback's face changes to one of confusion as he's greeted by an empty truck cab.
Hey.
Quickly turning around, Benny finds his girlfriend leaning against the tailgate of a truck. The black-clad teenager is staring off at some unknown point on the horizon.
You scared the bejesus out of me! How do you move so quietly? I'm definitely gonna have to get you a bell or something.
Benny, we need to talk.
Oh, man. Did I forget our anniversary or something? I'm really, really sorry. It's just I've been dealing with stuff at home and...
Calm down. You're not in trouble. Just come over here already.
Benny sheepishly moves next to Scarlett and the 2 teens quietly sit in the darkened alleyway. Benny opens his mouth to say something, but reconsiders and remains stoically next to Scarlett.
I am going to tell you something right now, and I don't want you to say anything back to me. I just want you to hear me and process what I'm about to say before you respond. Can you do that?
Scarlett, what's going on? You're freaking me out.
It's a yes or no question. Hey, one other thing. You know how sometimes you tell me what I want to hear, whether or not you agree with me?
I don't do that.
Pineapples.
Is that a safe word or something?
Every time we pick up pizza, we get pineapple on it. I thought we both liked it, but your mom told me today that you hate pineapples. Always have.
Hate is a strong word. I just don't think fruit belongs on pizza.
This is not a pizza topping type moment. I need you to be 100% sincere and honest with me. I know that like 90% of our relationship is wisecracks and jokes, but I really need you to...
I love you too.
What?
There's only one thing in the world that makes Scarlett Watts uncomfortable, and that's talking about feelings. You're as uncomfortable as I've ever seen you, so I don't need to be a genius to figure out what you're trying to talk about.
Are you sure? Because there's different types of love.
That's how I know this is love with a capital L. I loved you as a friend for almost half of my life. I thought that was enough. I didn't think I could feel stronger about you, but I was wrong. Not counting my mom and my brother, you are the most important thing in my world.
Aren't you at least a little bit worried about our mismatched energies?
Our what?
Benny, I've been your best friend since before you needed to shave. I've seen you go through dozens of boyfriends and girlfriends over the years. I know what you look for, and I know what you like. Specifically, I know what you like to do.
Is this about sex?
Of course it is. It's like the friggin' sword of Damocles hanging over our relationship. It is... It is honestly stupid how much I love you. But there's this little voice in the back of my head that keeps telling me that you're gonna get... I don't know, that you're gonna get bored or frustrated and...
That's not gonna happen to us. Sex isn't the only thing I think about.
It's the only thing everyone else seems to think about. You forget that I'm the manager of the football team, so I hear dozens of testosterone-fueled boys talking about their latest conquests on a daily basis. And don't even get me started on what I hear in the girls' locker room. It's even more disturbing.
We're gonna circle back to the girls' locker room thing in a minute. But when did we start caring about what everyone else did? Our whole lives has been you and me versus the world.
I just don't want you to end up presenting me.
That is not gonna happen. What we have, what we share, is better than anything I've ever experienced in my entire life. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
I love you.
That's the rumor.
And you love me.
You're 2 for 2.
And nothing's gonna change that?
That is correct.
Not a dinosaur attack or the threat of alien invasion.
Hasn't stopped us yet. Now that this emotional crisis has been solved, let's go in and I'll trade you half of my hamburger for more stories of the girls' locker room.
Tubular Teens with Titans is written and produced by Velvet Fiend Rabbit Productions. Our theme song, Thunder Sword, is written and produced by Ahmad Judah and Joe Chasm, with lyrics and vocals by Keisha Wallace. If you liked what you just heard, please head over to the podcast service of your choice and leave us a rating and a review. It truly helps more people find the show. Tubular Teens with Titans features the vocal talents of
I'm Briar Zachary, and I play the Druidic Defender, J. Terra.
My name is Chris Van, and I play the Pirate Paladin, Benny Humo.
I'm Tim Loika, and I play Storm Sentinel, Ha-Nuel Yasao.
I'm Keisha Wallace, and I play the Hydro Hoplite, Gwen Avalon.
Sup, I'm Allegra Rodriguez Shivers, and I play the Nova Knight, also known as Scarlett Watts.
I'm Shane Cochran, and I voice Erald.
I'm JJ Jensen, and I play Hera.
I'm Michael Waldschlager II, and I play Vahan, Guardian Prime.
I'm Noah, and I play Johnny Dakota.
Kyle Gould as Reginald Thaddeus III.
I'm Jerry Kokich, and I play the Drowned Duke.
I'm PJ Argento, and I voice
Tirich Mir.
Hi, I'm Sarah Roberts, and I play Desdemona George.